for table. Okay? It's a 25-cent word for table as well as a head count. Let me get back in here and pull up the, I thought I had the whiteboard pulled up. Pull up the whiteboard. There we go. All right. So, a frequency distribution is going to look something like this. It's going to look like this and like this. And on one side, you may have what we call qualitative. Does anybody know what the word qualitative means?
Not a clue.
Yes, it means the quality, like the color, the
characteristics. That's the best word for qualitative. Characteristics. Blonde, brunettes, redheads. So I would put the what we call categories over here, and that would be blondes, brunettes, and redheads. And then over here, I would have a head count. Now, you can't say head count because that's not sophisticated enough. So what you call it is the frequency. Okay? So if you have 5 blondes, then that means the frequency for blondes is 5. So that would be 5, 4, and 1. Okay? So that is what we call a qualitative distribution. A quantitative distribution is when you have to worry about numbers. Numbers that have mathematical meaning. Okay? Qualitative is a characteristic. And that's one of those words that I've always had a problem trying to spell because I don't know where all the dadgum H's go. Is that right? Don't look right. I believe I got too many H's. I don't believe that belongs in there. Somebody check me. I can't remember how to spell character. But anyway, quantitative is numbers. Now, what about a Social Security number? Is that qualitative or quantitative?
That's qualitative.
Good job. Why?
Because it's not a quantity.
It doesn't mean anything. Okay? Just like she said, it doesn't mean a measurement. It doesn't mean a count. It doesn't mean it's an ID. Now, that's one thing that you'll see on a standardized test. They'll say, what about zip codes and Social Security numbers? Zip codes belong here. Zip codes. Social Security number. Area codes. Those are all numbers, but they do not have quantity. They have quality. In other words, they are describing something. And that description is whereabouts you live, pretty much. Quantitative data, you don't have categories. Anybody tell me what you have instead of categories? What do you have in boxing and wrestling?
You have innings.
Not categories, but what?
Rounds.
No, I mean, how do you distinguish your boxers and your wrestlers from each other?
Corner?
Yeah. Or
classes, weight classes. Okay?
Oh.
In other words, you got your lightweight, your middleweight, blah, 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 blah. Okay? In other words, when you have quantitative data, you have to have classes. Like from 10 to 14, from 15 to 19, from 20 to 24. 25 to 29. 4, 2, 8, 7. So those are your two types of frequency distributions. As far as mathematics go, you can't do anything with this one. Somebody tell me why you can't do anything with this one as far as mathematics. Because you can't take the average of blonde, brunette, and redhead. You can't calculate blonde, brunette, and redhead. You can't put blonde, brunette, and redhead in a formula. So the only thing that you can actually do in formulas and actually find the mean and the standard deviation is the quantitative distribution, which is right here. Now, if you're ever taking my math, that's something else I want to show y'all. Well, I'll show you in just a minute, but I need to show y'all. I'm teaching Math 120 next semester in the summer, and I'm teaching it via this format. So if you're interested in taking it, I'm teaching it now. I think it's at the Easley campus also. I don't know about Oconee, but you can always ask to join in. Say again?
Do you teach Math 102 or 109?
I teach 109.
I'll see you again.
Okay, good. I usually teach it in this format, so look for the Polygon Math 109. I usually teach the 109 in the fall.
Yeah,
but
that's what
I am teaching this class 120, and I would highly suggest that y'all take it. And a lot of you say, well, I don't need it. Well, you may need it in the future, because most people come back, and I can't remember what y'all's degrees are, but most people do come back. And 120 is a good class to take, because you're taking, this is the first unit right here, statistics, and then the second unit is probability, which is going to be a little bit of chapter 11. So you're going to get a feel for it. It's not no algebra. You just have to be able to add, subtract, multiply, and divide. So anyway, to make a long story short, in Math 120, we actually find the mean and the standard deviation of this. Now I'm going to show you a couple of things, and I'm not sure they're going to ask you. I'm not sure I'm just going to go show you the introductory level here. There's three things that you need to get from this information right here. One is the class width. The class width, and I'll do this in green, the class width is going to be equal to this guy subtracted from this guy, or this guy subtracted from this guy, or this guy subtracted from this guy. Always go vertical. So what's 20 minus 15? The same as 15 minus 10. 15 minus 10 is 5. Try it again. What's 14 from 19? 19 minus 14 is what? 5. So your class width is 5. All right, so that's one thing you need to be able to find. The second thing you need to be able to find is your midpoint. The midpoint is going to be, and this is the third thing you need to know. The third thing, I meant the second thing, or the first thing technically. Let me put it in different color. Magenta. This is your lower class limit. That's not magenta, that's purple. This is upper class limit. Your classes are made of two limits. Your lower class limit, which is on the left, and your upper class limit, which is on the right. So these are the lower class limits. And these are the upper class limits. So that's the first thing you need to know. The second thing you need to know is how to find the class width. And the class width, as I showed you, is you subtract the preceding upper class limit from the secondary upper class limit. You always go consecutively. You don't say 24 minus 14. It don't work that way. You go 15 minus 10, 20 minus 15, 25 minus 20, 29 minus 24, 24 minus 19, 19 minus 14. And all of those should give you the same number, which in this case is a class width of 5. So that's the second thing, class width. The third thing is the midpoint. In the midpoint, you take the lower class limit plus the upper class limit and divide by 2. Basically, you're finding the average. So pick one. I'm going to pick the first one. 10 plus 14 divided by 2. 24 divided by 2, which is what? So 12 is the midpoint between 10 and 14. Now the midpoint is very important. The midpoint is what you use in calculations. So you need to highlight the midpoint because the midpoint is very important. Now the reason you can't do a blonde, brunette, and redhead average is because you can't find the midpoint of blonde, midpoint of brunette. There's no mathematics there. So you can't do a qualitative distribution as far as calculations. Okay? So basically that's what a frequency distribution is. Capiche? Yes, Hubert, we understand. Thank you,
Yes.
class. So now is it not speak to Hubert time?
No, we're here. We're just listening.
No, y'all just listening. Okay.
At least I am.
What is a piece of data? Data, just
Read this part.
take that out. That sounds bad. A piece of data.
Data or data?
I don't like that. Just say data.
Data.
What is data? Data is write down test scores. What do you do at the end of every semester to see what you have in the class?
You average up all your scores.
You add them up and you divide by how many scores you have. That is called data. The other is called frequency distribution. That's the two types of data you have in statistics. You either have numbers, like the average, the ages of people that died of drunk driving last year. And you find the average. You add them all together and you divide by how many people. Okay, that's data. Versus a chart or a table that has classes, and that's a frequency distribution. Okay, here they're giving us numbers. Okay? And they're saying basically construct a frequency distribution. Well, how many numbers do we have? We have 9, don't we? Yes, Hubert. So I'm going to put on the left side, I'm going to put the numbers that are representative. Now, we're not going to have classes here. We could, but they're not asking you to, do all that right now. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. How many zeros we got? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How many ones we got? Well, 8, 9, 10, 11. How many twos we got? Well, there's 8 and 5 and 5. What's 10? That's 18. Somebody count them, make sure. 8 and 3 is 11. 4s, 6, 5s. Oops, sorry. 4, 6, 2, 7, 1, 8, 2, 9. Up 1, sorry. Just done a frequency distribution. Question. Now you can't say that's difficult, can you, Miss Simmons?
I haven't even said nothing.
What?
You really reaching. You reaching. I
Why?
haven't even said nothing. Because I ain't said nothing.
No, the last class you said statistics was so aggravating.
Yeah, not hard though. Aggravating. There's a difference.
I'm sorry. I don't know what I'm thinking of. Please forgive me, Miss Simmons. I'm sorry.
Well, I'll think about it.
8 families have no children. 11 families have 1 child. 18 families had 2 children. And so on. Note that some of the frequencies. Okay, we've already done that. Okay. We already talked about class width. Classes should not overlap. And each piece of data should go to 1 class. That's just some things. Here's okay, there's what I gave you a while ago. What's the class width? All you got to do is subtract 2 numbers. 5 minus 0 is what? 5. Thank you, one person that interacts with me. I appreciate that. What's 15 minus 10? I'm going to give you an A. You don't even have to do nothing the rest of the semester. I'm just going to give you an A.
Okay, I'm out.
Okay, see you. All right. 15 minus 10 is what?
5.
20 minus 15? So the class width is 5. Upper class limit, lower class limit. I showed you that. That's number 1 thing. Number 2 thing, find the midpoint. The class width. Now, what is the midpoint? What's 4 plus 0?
4.
Divided by 2?
2.
So 2, and then you add the class width. What's 2 plus 5? 7. What's 7 plus 5? 12. What's 12 plus 5? 17. What's 17 plus 5? 22. What's 22 plus 5? 27. So you can find your midpoints by just adding your class width to your first midpoint. Okay? So I showed you that. The following sets of data represents family income in thousands of dollars rounded to the nearest hundred of 15 randomly selected families. So they just went out and picked people and said how much money you make. Okay? And they're going to put it in classes. All right? Construct a frequency distribution with blah, blah, blah. So let's do that. Write this question down. In other words, just write these, put them in order. They may already be in order. No, I don't think they are. So go ahead and put them in order. That's the first thing you need to do. Oh my gosh, you're going to have to actually get out a piece of paper. I'm sorry.
I know, it's terrible.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
When in classes like this, just for like future reference, how long do you have to stay to be counted?
Actually, if you make it through half the class, you should be counted. But some teachers, they don't have a girlfriend or a boyfriend. So.
Well, I feel awful.
Why?
My head's hurt.
Well, go ahead and leave.
I got a lot of clothes.
I feel bad.
You just hate my class. I know. Go ahead.
I really don't. I don't feel good.
Okay, well, you go ahead. I'll count you here.
Hubert, they are in
I can't do it
order.
because it makes me feel bad.
What'd you say?
They are in order.
They are? Okay, good. I didn't know they were. Go ahead, Miss Simmons. If you don't want to be here, if you don't want to be a part of the group, you go ahead and
Now
leave.
you're making me feel bad. You're just making me feel bad.
I ain't saying a word.
Because even though you're aggravating, I feel like you're a
I'm not
nice
aggravating. I
guy.
don't like you.
You're a nice guy.
All right. So, you leave whenever you feel like you need to leave. All right. So, somebody take your calculator. Now, you got to be careful here because you can't subtract. You're going to have to subtract very carefully when you go this way. But I'm going to do this. What comes right before 37.6? Or what comes right after 37.6?
37.7.
37.7. Okay, now let's get to class width. Somebody take these two numbers and subtract them.
Yeah.
Somebody tell me what you get. Okay, Hubert, I'll do it. That's okay.
Negative
37
6.2.
6.2?
Negative, yeah.
Is it 6.2?
Yeah.
Okay. So add 6.2 to this guy. What's 6.2 plus 37.6? That's okay, I'll do it. 43 point.
Chill.
What?
Hey. Chill, you gotta give us time to process and
Process?
type it.
Come on, you should have a calculator. I mean, y'all
I
are
do,
all
it's right
on
here in
calculator
front of
drill
me.
team in high school.
Oh my God. You're at a 10. You need
I
to bring it
know.
down.
What's 37.7 plus 6.2?
37.
43.9. And what's 43.8 plus 6.2?
50.
I'm sorry, what?
50.
50 even?
Yeah.
And then 43.9 plus 6.2 is 50.51, is 50.1, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
And then 50 plus 6.2 is 56.2. I don't know, what's our highest score? 65, so we got to move on, we got to go on further. So 50.1 plus 6.2 is 56.3. And 56.2 be 62.4. And we still not, so I'm going to have to go over here and rewrite everything. So 31.5 to 37.6. 37.7 to 43.8. 43.9 to 50.0. 50.1 to 56.2. And 56.3 to 62.4. 56.3 be what? 62.5?
Yeah.
And 62 plus 6 point be 68.6. And that should cover this right here. So now I do, there's my classes, now I just do a head count. So 31.5 to 37.6. 31.5 to 37.6. 2. 37.7 to 43.8. 3. 43.9 to 50. Dang old 5. 50 to 56.2. 3. 56 to 62.3. 1. And of course that's 1. So that's how you do a frequency distribution. Remember, class width is very important. And how did I know that was 37.7? Well, what the problem is rounded to the 10th place, right? If it's rounded to the 10th place, then your next number after 37.6 is what?
37.
37.7. So I can now find the class width. That's a good test question. So make sure you mark that one in your notes. And of course, they're going to do it right here. There it is. Check to see if I'm right. I think that's what we got. And see, all they did was they found the class width first. I don't get into all that. Histograms to me are a waste of time. I'm going to show you the difference between a histogram and a bar chart. Does anybody know the difference between a histogram and a bar chart?
So what Instagram go this way?
This is the difference. This is a bar chart. This is a histogram. What's the difference?
They connect.
They connect. That's the only difference. I really do think that when statistics was created, I think that there was actually people that decided, well, hey, if I don't want to be a mathematician, I can be a statistician, and we'll just make up a bunch of stuff so we can say we're a statistician. And they made up a bunch of stuff, and the histogram was one of the things they made up, because is there any logical reason for them to touch or not? Does that make any difference whether you can read it or not? No.
No.
So I really think that's something they made up. But that's the difference between a histogram and a bar chart. So make a note of that, because that is a standardized test question. They'll give you two choices and they'll say A or B. Which one is a histogram? And the only difference is the boxes connect on a histogram, and the bar chart, they do not. I think that's one of those things that are just silly, but that's just my own opinion. Make sure you can, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on constructing a histogram, because let's go back to the question we were doing. Hold on a second. Well, let's just do this. The last problem, I'm going to show you what it looks like as a histogram. Here's the x-axis, here's the y-axis. What was okay, I'm just going to say the first class is A, second class is B, third class is C, D, E. How many classes did we have? Give me the classes. Go down the left-hand side. What were the classes? Okay, do y'all not have the last problem we just did?
You're talking about with like the debt. Oh, okay.
The left-hand side. What were the decimals? I'll go do it. I'll find it myself. I don't think y'all are paying attention.
I can't see it.
No, it's in your notes. It should be in your notes. I'm trying to find it now. There. 31.5 to 37.6. Let me just copy this, because I'm not going to ask y'all. Y'all not going to tell me. Let me go snipping tool, new. Save. Capture. Go away. Save. Yes. Now, I'm not going to be able to bring it in anyway, so. Do y'all remember y'all have this in your notes?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes, I have it. Right
Okay,
here.
when I ask for these left-hand sides, will y'all tell me what they are?
Yes.
Thank you. Y'all just in a bad mood today. I don't know why y'all in a bad mood. I ain't done anything to put y'all in a bad mood.
I am kind of grumpy.
You are grumpy? Okay.
Just a little bit.
Well, at least you're honest.
Nothing that you did, though.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. Let me go back here. There we go. Okay, I'm going to try this again. With y'all's cooperation, maybe I can do it. All right, I'm just going to do the first. I'm not going to write all in decimals. I'm just going to call them classes. How many classes are there?
6.
6, A, B, C, D, E, F. There's 6 classes. And the first class is what was the lower class limit and upper class limit?
31.5 to 37.6.
Okay, that's the first class, and then the rest of them. All right. Now, what is the largest number of head counts that we have? Wasn't it like 9 or 10 or 13? What was it?
I didn't write that down.
What was the largest number on the right-hand side?
5.
No. I counted
The other one.
18. Wasn't it 18?
That sounds right. I didn't write
Did y'all not
that
write it down? I guess y'all did.
down.
5, 10, 15, 20.
I'm sure it doesn't. Yeah.
Okay, how many was in the first one? 31 to 37.6. How many?
6.6. What are you talking? The 31.5 to 37.6.
How many?
6.1. Is that right?
Or 6.2.
Okay, am I missing something? Did y'all not write down that chart we just did?
Yes.
Huh?
Feel good.
Yes or no? It's a simple question.
Yes. I didn't write down the final numbers.
Okay, so everybody did not write it down. Just tell me.
I did not know.
Okay, Easley, did y'all write the chart down?
Yes.
Okay, well, I need you to tell me how many were in 31 to 37.
It says 2.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I was confused because you're talking about 18 and stuff, and it's like
Well, the highest number on the
2, 3,
right-hand
5,
side is how
7,
many?
1.
Look on the right-hand side of the chart or the distribution. How many? What's the highest number?
5.
There's no way.
The other one we did, 18 is
Wait a minute. Y'all must be thinking something else. Hold on, because I remember counting to 18. Oh, shoot. Now, I can't remember which way I'm going. I'm kind of irritated.
It's okay.
Okay, I'm crazy. Where is the... Okay, I'm
The one we
wrong.
did before this.
I'm
had
wrong. You're right. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. So let me eat crow. You're right. I'm wrong. I was on a different... Okay, so the highest is 5?
Yes.
Okay, so I know why you're confused now. Because I'm on drugs. Okay. I don't know where I got the 18 from. Okay, the highest is 5, so we're going to make each one of these equal to 1. Okay, now that we're on the same sheet of music and I'm not drunk, A, you said there was 2?
Yes.
Okay, so 2 would be right there, sorry. Okay, how many was in the next set?
3.
3 would be right there. The next set?
5.
Oh, I'm doing a bar chart. I'm sorry, they're not touching. Y'all get the point. All right, what's the next one?
3.
3. And the next one?
1.
1. Oops. And the next one?
1.
And that is a bar chart. If you want them to be a histogram, you squish all of them together. Lord, no wonder I was getting irritated. I was asking y'all to do another problem. I'm sorry.
I think you need to bring it down a notch.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's my fault. You know, us males, we can't chew gum at the same time, so.
Hey, speak for yourself on that one.
You can't either. Be quiet. There's the one. There's the 18.
How to get what?
That's the one I was thinking of. Okay. I'm not gonna go into this because that's just busy work. This is a histogram right there. Now, if you can tell me the difference that you really need a histogram over a bar chart, I'd like for you to tell me, because I never have found a reason to have a bar chart and a histogram be different from each other. I don't know what the big... So, just make sure you know it in case somebody on the test asks you.
The histogram's easier to draw.
Yeah, I guess. Frequency polygons, not used very much, so I'm not going to worry about those. Well, we've already went over this. There's a polygon. You know what some people call a frequency polygon? A line chart. So again, I think somebody has taken something from the mathematical world, which is called a line chart or line graph, and they said, okay, well, we're statisticians, so we need to give it our own name, and they called it a polygon histogram. Stem and leaf. Stem and leaf, let me see if they're going to give us an example, because it's easier to show you an example than it is to actually do it. Okay, write these down.
I hate stem and leaf.
It's not that big. It's not very difficult.
I know, I'm just a negative person right now.
I know. Is it? I'm not going to ask, but, you know, I just hope you feel okay.
I'm tired.
I'm Hubert. Now, what is the lowest number?
29.
Okay, so you're going to
No,
start,
28.
and you
No,
can start.
27.
Okay, 27. You can start with 10s or you can start with 20s. It doesn't matter. I'm going to start with 10s. All right? What's the highest number?
72.
I didn't hear you. I heard mumbling.
72.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to go from 10 to 70. All right? So I'm on the left-hand side. I'm going to draw a chart. On the left-hand side, I'm going to put, you can put 10s if you want to right here. 10s. And then I'm going to put a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, a 6, and a 7. You don't have to start it at 1. You could actually start this one at 2 because of the 20s. But I started at 1 just because I wanted to. So there is no 1, so you don't put anything over here. Now, with some stem and leaf plots, you can put dots or you can put numbers. All right? So let's look at the 2s. How many 20s do we have? We've got a 20 here. We've got a 20 here. Is there any other 20s? Nope. 28. So you put a 7 and a 9.
No, there's a 28.
Where?
2 over from 27.
Oh, thank you. So put an 8 there and a 9 here. So 27, 28, 29. If you were doing with dots, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you put 3 right here, 3 dots. Okay, 30. How many 30s we got? Well, we got 1 here, 1 here, 1 here. Any other 30s?
No, that's it.
So that's 1, 2, and 9. Or 3 dots for 3 numbers with 30 in them. Forties. Okay, here's a 40. Here's a 40. Here's a 40.
I could use a 40.
What?
I said I could use a 40.
I think everybody could on Friday. But we have to be nice since we're professionals. Okay, so we got 3, 4, 4, 5, 7. 3, 4, 4, 5, 7. Or 5 dots. Fifties. Well, I'm not going to draw anymore because it's going to get cluttered. 0, 6, 8, 9. Y'all check me. Zero, 6, 8, 9. Thank y'all for the reinforcement. I appreciate that. 60. 0, 2, 8. And 70, 1, and 2. And that's how you do a stem and leaf plot. Question. Okay. What time's class end?
1:15.
Okay, we'll go ahead and stop today. Let's see how far we got to go. Remember, somebody write down stem and leaf because that's what we went over last. And there's the answer.
Stem and leaf.
Stem and leaf. We'll go into circle graphs next. Okay? Y'all have a good day and work on 12.1 and 12.2 homework, okay? Have a good weekend. I hope y'all feel better Monday. You too, Hubert. You have a good weekend. I will.
Bye, Hubert.
Bye-bye. Need to come up easily to try that bar out. What's it called?
Should.
What's the bar called?
Hey, we got karaoke tonight.
Oh, God, I love karaoke. What's the bar called?
It's called the Lucky Jar.
The Lucky Jar.
The Lucky Jar.
Mr. King, you ever been to the Lucky Jar?
Look, it's got the name because my mom's been bartending for like 16 years, and she's always had one specific jar that said Cheese Lucky Jar on it that she's taken to every bar that she's worked at. So that's where it got its name.
Well, that's cute.
Yeah. So.
Well, don't work too hard.
Yeah.
Y'all be good.
All right, see you later.
Bye.
See ya.